name is Larry Vogel. I'm with Spring Valley, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the Endure fertilizer lineup for the Cisco companies. First off, why professional grade fertilizer? Well, there's a pretty big difference between the professional grade and a lot of the retail stuff in the stores. Some of the fertilizer is around SGN 230, 235 versus an SGN 200 size particle that the Endure fertilizer lineup is. Basically what that tells you is, number one, there's 40 to 50% more particles per square inch on the Endure fertilizer than, say, a bigger sized particle around SGN 230 or 235. What that's going to do is it's going to give you great coverage for weed and feed products, especially where contact is key. Another thing is triple screening. We triple screen our products to make sure that we eliminate as much dust as possible. So when you get the bag, you're spreading it, and it works. You don't have a big dust cloud following you. Another advantage is a thick bag. We have a 6 mil bag. The reason why we go with the 6 mil bag is because when we package the product, we got to get it on a truck. It's got to get out to our customers. They have to get it out to you. So the bag is moving all over the place, and we want to try to keep what's in the bag and keep it in the bag as much as possible. Another advantage is uniform particle sizing. We try to keep all of our urea, sulfur coat, or U-Flex, U-Max, any types of products that you're putting in that bag, you want to have them as consistent as possible. When you have a lot of oversizes, a lot of bigger sizes, and a lot of smaller sizes, that can tend to throw your spread pattern off. Next one I want to talk about is the other types of slow-release nitrogen that we have out in the marketplace. First off, you have SCU, which is sulfur-coated urea. Also is called PSU, polymer sulfur-coated. Some of the trademark names out there are XCU, XRT. Basically, the other one we want to talk about too is the Neutralene, which would be your methylene ureas. The SCU, again, is a coated product. Neutralene would be a homogeneous product. Just touching a little bit on the sulfur coat performance, it's going to last approximately 6 to 8 weeks, and it really depends on the urea itself. Sulfur coat urea, it's just a sulfur over the urea and then a polymer coating. But if that urea, the more jagged the urea is, in those areas where you have sharp edges, the coating is going to be thin. So it just depends really on how the product is made. But you're going to get a high initial release of the product from the flaws in the coating, like I touched on, an inconsistent pearl size. Also from cracks in coating, and they can occur from production shipping. Any time that sulfur coat comes in contact with something, any abrasive, anytime there's some abrasion, there's a chance that it could crack from shipping the product to the formulators, to blending the product, to once it's in the bag, being moved around other places, stacking, going into a spreader. There's any time where that coating has a lot of abrasiveness, it cracks. It's not sulfur coated, it's not slow release, it is urea can be used right away. This is just a little picture of a sulfur coat. Obviously in the middle is the urea, the outside you have a little sulfur, and then you've got the polymer sealant, and then a conditioner. Next we have Neutralene. Neutralene is a homogeneous particle. It's going to last up to 16 weeks. Now Neutralene is dependent upon temperature and microbial activity. You can put it down when it's really, really cold outside, say the soil temperature is maybe around 50 degrees or so, and you can have lots of moisture, but the product itself isn't going to be releasing very well just because of the microbial activity that's needed in the soil to release most of it. So Neutralene is it releases very, very slow too, a little bit at a time. So now we're going to talk about U-Flex and U-Max stabilized nitrogen, and these are the products that are in the Endure lineup. first, what stabilized nitrogen it's a different approach to solving the same problem as your sulfur coats and your neutralines. It's not coated like SCU, and it's not a complex chain like your methylene ureas, like your neutralin. It uses natural soil chemistry properties to extend that nitrogen availability, which is going to give you a better value. Stabilized nitrogen products, there's two ingredients that they put into the UMAX and the UFlex. One is agrotane. It's a urease inhibitor that stops volatility loss for up to 14 days. This product, you're going to stop that volatility for 14 days with the UFlex and the UMAX product. When you have, you throw a bunch of urea out on the lawn and it's nice and hot and there's no rain for, say 7 to 10 days, you're not getting any rain, well, you're losing a good percentage of that urea to the atmosphere. It's volatilizing. And this is going to keep it from volatilizing. So you keep the urea that the urea in that UFlex UMAX stays where it should. The second is the dicyandiamide. It's a nitrification inhibitor, and what that does is it keeps the urea in an ammoniacal state for 6 to 8 weeks for UFlex, and would be 12 to 16 weeks for UMAX. Basically, it keeps it from being leached through the soil. So once this stuff is watered into the soil, it's going to stay there for that extended time, and it's 100% available to the plant. So the plant can use as much as it needs to for those 6 to 8 weeks, or for UFlex or for UMAX for the 12 to 16 weeks. Again, the difference between the UMAX and the UFlex is just the amount of dicyandiamide, which is that nitrification inhibitor that's added to the product. UFlex, there's enough for 6 to 8 weeks, and then they basically double the amount, and that's where they get the 12 to 16 weeks with the UMAX. So just to kind of wrap this whole thing up with UFlex and UMAX, UFlex is the same volatility protection as in UMAX. You get an intermediate response from it. The response length is going to last approximately 6 to 8 weeks. It's available in the standard size through the Endure product line, and it's well suited for the professional landscape, lawn care, and retail markets. The stabilized nitrogen products are going to provide you exceptional performance, exceptional value, versatility. You can use them as a dry, like you would in this granular and granular blend, or you could purchase the UFlex from Cisco bag as a soluble application as well. It's very, very soluble. The stuff tank mix as well. And you also have an environmental stewardship message. You're reducing the amount of nitrogen that's being lost to the atmosphere and that's leaching through the soil. Next thing I want to talk about is organics. We also fortify the Endure lineup. Most of the blends have a organic, which is our top cut in the formulation. What it is it's a biosolid. It is a slow-release organic nitrogen. Actually has a salt index of 2, which is going to give you no burn potential. Just to give you an idea, urea has a salt index of 75, so it's, urea is pretty salty, but this product obviously is not. And it also contains a chelated iron. And the chelated iron is something that the plants can use, and it's going to, what it does is once it gets into the plant, it coats these cell walls, or oxidizes around the cell walls, so you get this black oxidization in the turf, but when you're looking at the turf, you get this deep dark green look. And that's, you want your customers want something that's going to make the turf really nice and dark. You want something in the fertilizer that's going to, consistently feed the turf for an extended period of time. That's why we came up with this whole lineup of adding the organics to the product, and adding the UFlex and the UMAX to the line. It's going to keep the turf color good, feeding the turf for the extended period of time. That's all I have. I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, please talk to any of your Cisco reps, and have a good day.
Okay, and Larry will have you down at the show this year so they can show you even more data that we had that we didn't have time to put on here, but just how it stays in the soil without leaching away. But also we'll be introducing this year the new Endure line in the 5,000 square foot bag too, so you'll have both the big coverage bag and the small bag. And thank you very much, and if they have any questions, they can talk with their sales rep, or they can stop by the booth and talk with you directly.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.